And welcome to Two Old Farts in a Cart, or should we say in a car today, as the camera went dead on my phone while we were playing, and we're having to finish up our episodes today here in the car on our post-round wrap-up here. Coach Toney, beautiful day for golf today.
Hey, it sure was there, Coach. We thoroughly enjoyed it. We played with two pretty good gentlemen. And
David,
like we said, yeah, two Daves. Like we say, a bad day on the golf course still better than a good day at work.
Well, I had a bad day on the golf course, so I guess it was a better than a good day at work today. Had my worst day since we've been filming this year, though. So got to try to bounce back next week, though. But Coach Toney, we had a good outing last night. We took our act on the road. We took Two Old Farts at a concert last night. That we saw a great concert. Saw Pat Benatar and her husband in concert last night, and they put on a great show.
Hey, they sure did there. And I tell you what, Memorial Auditorium, Coach, it was a packed house.
Her husband is Neil, is it
Giraldo?
Giraldo. Neil Giraldo there. I tell you what, she can still belt it out at age 72.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as good a singer as she is, he's as good a musician as she is singer, though. Can play the guitar, piano, but the two of them teamed up and really rocked it out.
Coach, I guess the Memorial Auditorium probably see what, maybe 4,000, 3,500, 4,000.
Somewhere in that neighborhood, I think.
Pretty well packed, yeah.
So what was your favorite song last night, Coach Toney? Did you have a favorite?
Hey, I tell you what, my favorite there, Coach, I liked them all.
Okay, they did a good variety of hits.
Yep.
Actually, she did more hits than I thought, that I'd forgotten about. Some of them she did that was brought back some good memories there.
That's right.
But even their warm-up band or the opening act was pretty good. A little band out of Cleveland, Ohio,
yeah,
suburb.
Youngstown.
And they had a young lady from there who could flat out sing, reminding me of a young Pat Benatar.
Yeah, because they had her on the stage sing with Pat one time.
Brought her in for a duet
sure
on one of her songs there and let her sing a little bit, but they put on a good show there, though. So, Coach Toney, have you thought up any good questions for me for this week?
Yeah, I probably got a couple there, Coach. What would you rather be, the one that interviews or the one that answers the interviews? Which one would you rather be?
I've done so many interviews. It's kind of fun for me to sit back and get to ask the questions there, because I've done so many of those. So that's why I'm giving you the option now and letting you be the question one there, because I have there's no telling how many people I've interviewed in my lifetime, though, and we've had a variety of people, from professional athletes, college athletes, movie stars, singers, musicians. I have done a little bit of everybody, including Santa Claus. I've even interviewed Santa Claus before, though. So,
well, one thing which you told me, but a lot of our audience, they would probably like to know, how many total concerts have you gone to over the years?
Coach Toney, that was a newbie for me last night, but I now have seen 67 different people in concert, adding including the one last night. That gave me 67 there, though, and that doesn't even count the number of times that we've been to see your group, Foreigner, about 7 times, and the Doobie Brothers a handful of times. I've seen the Eagles 3 times. I've seen Chicago 3 or 4 times. I've seen Paul McCartney 3 or 4 times. That does not even count the people I've seen multiple times. I've seen ELO 2 times. They were great.
Hey, absolutely.
But I have seen a lot of good people in concert. And, I enjoy going to a good concert as much as I do going to a good sports event. Sometimes even better.
That's right. At least when you go to the concerts, it's really a can't-lose situation.
It's relaxing.
It is.
And you don't have to worry about usually, unless they're a very political band that's outspoken in one way or another, though, but usually you don't have to worry about any politics involved in going to a concert, whereas going to a game, you get your politics also.
You're absolutely right.
Coach Toney, my battery's going dead right here.
Where we're going?
So we are fading out, so we will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Everybody have a good day.
And welcome back to Two Off Arts in a Cart. I thought our battery went dead. We got it plugged in. We're back on right now, looking to kind of see what's going on a little bit more. Talking about the concert last night, there was one thing I thought was really interesting, and I'm going to let you kind of explain that. I had seen on the playlist, which was wrong, that one of Pat Benatar's biggest songs was "Hit Me With Your Best Shot." And it was supposed to have been the last thing on their show on the encore, but they don't do that when you said anymore.
No, I was reading something, Coach, where, about 2 or 3 years ago, everywhere they were performing, there was a lot of violence in that particular city, and they felt like it would be best that they would not sing that particular song. I believe that was the year 2022, I believe it was. So, I don't believe they still do it to this day.
Pat Benatar was I didn't realize this either, even told the audience and shared with us that she actually lived in South Carolina for a year. And
was it Spartanburg?
I don't think it was Spartanburg. It may have been
the bank. She said she worked for. I remember that, and they had one in Spartanburg, Southern.
Yep, but she was a bank teller here when she was younger, and she. That they were even saying about the Southern hospitality that they might just have to move here, and she told her husband Neil that he could get grits every morning. He seemed to have liked the grits.
He could grit every morning too.
Yep, that would be good there though. So, but good concert, good time was had by all with that. And again, we will be next week. We played out at River Falls today, and that course. Beautiful course out there. That's a tough course out there. And the course, you said itself is in pretty good shape. There are several greens that needed a little bit of work on
right,
it. But the pro had told us that.
They were golfers from going out there because it was a packed house this morning at 9:40, and we finished up about 20 to 3. It was a lot of people were still going off, Coach.
That they were. And Coach Toney, well, since we met over the weekend, that Malaysia Fulton Wiley is now an LSU Tiger. I don't see how that's going to work with her and Floje Johnson and Williams. There ain't going to be enough basketballs to go around for them. You got too many stars that want the ball in their hands, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I forgot who else. Somebody LSU recruited a woman out of was it Ohio State or one of those.
They're trying to get one out of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
Pretty good, yeah. They day and time. You see a roster today, hey, in a couple months' time it'll change.
But this too with the transfer portal, if you get too many stars in there, because it didn't work with Haley Van Lette when she was there with Angel Reese and all those, there was not enough basketballs to go around, and that was a disaster too. So
you wonder too about the Gamecocks, with all those McDonald All-Americans, all of them, they can't score. They got to be able to play a role, and for a while they didn't want to play the role that she was given.
She wanted to be the star.
Yeah.
And the word is that, that when she went in the portal, that her mother, I think, had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, sure did.
That she tried to go back to South Carolina, and Dawn wouldn't take her back. After she went in the portal, she wanted to come back home, and the word is that she wouldn't let her come back. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how she deals with Kim Mulkey, the head coach of the LSU Tigers women. And in fact, I wish she was coaching the men's team. I think she'd do a pretty good job there.
Well, a lot of people say they wish Dawn was coaching the men's team in South Carolina, but it's going to be kind of interesting with Fulton Wiley too, because she's made some comments about her teammates at South Carolina, and where they were all one big family down there. The Gamecock players have unfriended her on Facebook and on Twitter and these other things, that when the Gamecocks and the Bayou Bengals get together, that's going to be one interesting game.
Hey, that's going to be interesting. And I saw where Kit's sister signed with Ohio State.
Okay. Yeah, we got the word from Columbia when we were down there that she was not coming to Columbia. There, South Carolina's trying for one more player from Utah, but I don't know if that's going to work out or not. They're just going to, I guess, try to develop some of these McDonald's All-Americans coming in. They had a big girl who was on the bench this year, 6'5", coming off knee surgery, going to try to rehab her. And another kid that they got last year from Arkansas played a little bit, but maybe with a year under her belt, she'll develop and be able to give them more help there.
We just don't know. Like I said, we got an idea of the roster now, but by the time it starts up, Coach, it can be changed.
Well, Coach Toney, we're going to finish out our show today that I might even play a couple of excerpts, cuts and stuff from last night's concert with Pat Benatar. We might bring her on, 2 old farts in a cart, to sing a song or two today.
Well, I tell you what, hey, she and her husband and the other 2 members
Of their band.
the one playing the drums and the guitar, they did an outstanding job. Sure did.
Enjoy the music and tune in next week for 2 old farts in a cart. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.